Coming up on Meet the Leaders, Long Beach's sandy recovery continues to march forward. And what's cooking on the beach this summer? Meet the Leaders starts right now. I'm Pat Halpin. Welcome to Meet the Leaders, the show getting you to the heart of local government. And from the Alligator Hotel on the Boardwalk in the city of Long Beach, joining us now is Councilman Anthony Eramo. Councilman, it's great to have you on Meet the Leaders.
Thank you.
Now, you just took office in January, so you were just elected in November. But you're you know Long Beach. You've lived here.
Yes.
And I have to ask a very simple question. About a year and a half after Sandy, how's Long Beach doing?
Long Beach is doing great. There obviously is still a lot to be done, but our beautiful 2.2 mile boardwalk is open for the first season, for the whole season. 3.5 miles of beautiful beaches, and we offer a lot for our residents and our visitors alike.
You know, we're here, and the last time Meet the Leaders came to Long Beach, we filmed at this hotel, and at that time it had just opened, and people were very happy to have a first-class hotel on the boardwalk. It reminded some of the old timers of what Long Beach used to be like. And but as I look out on this boardwalk, I say to myself, the beaches never look better. The boardwalk, which is Long Beach's main street, is active.
Right, right. Well, and two interesting things about both of those items you mentioned. Newsday reported that the #1 thing to do on Long Island is come visit our boardwalk. Whether you bike or go for a walk with the family, it was rated the #1 thing to do. And recently Newsweek reported a study that our beach is the cleanest in the region, #1 beach in the whole region. So that's really exciting stuff.
Now that just doesn't happen.
Right.
How do you keep this beach so clean? Because this is a beach that's used, and it's used 7 days a week.
Yes, and it's used
from Memorial Day to Labor Day and beyond.
Right, and it's used morning, noon, and night. The beach park closes at 11 o'clock at night. We have surfers, we have fishing, we have all kinds of stuff on the beach. And we have an amazing beach maintenance crew that is out there bright and early every morning, and they're out there at night combing it and cleaning up any sort of litter or anything like that.
So for Long Beach is about summer. Even in the winter, it's about summer.
I think residents also really like the fall. The fall is a very nice time to spend on the beach. You might not go swimming, but the sunsets are beautiful, and the beach is just
Although Harvey
perfect.
Wiesenberg was just on the show, and he said in October the water's still warm.
Yeah.
He'll swim in October.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll see people swimming year-round. I myself am a polar bear as well. My family does that every year, which is Super Bowl Sunday. We jump in the ocean for a great cause. And the whole city comes out for that. But in terms of you say that Long Beach is a summer city or a summer place. We have lots to offer our residents and lots to offer visitors.
But Long Beach, Sandy, looked like, it looked like a war zone in the sense you had no power, sewage treatment facilities were out,
Right.
all of the basic things that you need
Right.
in order to live. And it's hard to believe that a year and a half later, substantial portions of it are, there are some portions of it that still need attention. We'll talk about that.
Yep.
But it has bounced back. Just rebuilding that boardwalk in record time was an extraordinary
Right.
activity by the city of Long Beach.
Yes, rebuilding the boardwalk was a top priority because it is our identity. And residents were heartbroken that we had to completely demolish it. So I think that coming back fully funded by FEMA and the state, so no local tax dollars were used.
But this boardwalk was built not just for recreation purposes.
Oh, right.
It's built to protect the city.
Yes, yes.
Talk about that.
Well, there's a wall in front of the boardwalk that's built really to protect the boardwalk.
It's like a seawall.
But
it is a seawall.
But it actually is there to protect the boardwalk so that the boards don't pop off
Right.
should a wave crash into it. What really is going to protect the city on the ocean side, on the south side of the island, is the Army Corps of Engineers project, which was passed and approved. We're going to have one continuous dune connecting us to the town of Hempstead on both sides. So Point Lookout and Lido connected to East Atlantic Beach and Atlantic Beach.
And that dune will be how high?
And that dune will be 11 feet to 14 feet above sea level. But it won't be higher than the boardwalk. The boardwalk was built at a height so that you would be able to see right over.
Now, there was a lot of controversy years before Sandy about building
that
dune, that project.
Yep.
And the Army Corps and all of the FEMA experts and others said you have to do it because the waves will pound those dunes and they'll perhaps erode it, but they won't wash through.
Right. It was on the drawing board for decades.
Yes.
And it kept getting turned down, and residents didn't want it, and ultimately the Army Corps of Engineers walked away. Sandy, unfortunately, opened everyone's eyes to the real threat we have on the south side of the island, and also on the north side of the island is also potentially even a bigger threat. So there is a lot of infrastructure work that needs to get done.
So as you think about it, and we used to see, I don't live in Long Beach, but I'd read the arguments, and you had surfers. And I grew up on the South Shore in Babylon, and people go to Gilgo Beach and Cedar Beach also to surf. They were concerned about somehow it would affect the break of the break, and then others were concerned about the aesthetics, and they were concerned about not seeing the ocean.
Right. So a lot of those problems were dealt with. So it's not just creating a dune, though. They're also going to extend the length of the beach into the ocean and bring up the whole entire beach is going to be about a foot higher. The problem with the surfing was changing the slope of the sand that enters the ocean. And that slope would only change for a little while until the ocean does its natural thing and fixes it. However, the Army Corps has adapted the project in such a way that the Surf Riders Foundation and everyone is, on board with the project.
And
so
after Sandy, of course, people said, look, there are certain trade-offs, and we've got to protect our city.
I had 62 inches of water in my home, personally. Yes, we need dunes.
Now, 62 inches of water, for those that don't know their math as well as their arithmetic, that's over 5 feet of water.
Yes, it's over 5 feet of water.
What was that like?
It was devastating. It was scary. I unfortunately was home with my two kids. Alone. My wife was on a trip of a lifetime in Morocco with my mother-in-law, who actually lives on the first floor in my house. So it was her apartment that was completely destroyed, my house, her stuff. But it was very scary.
Were you and your children at risk?
Yes. Yes. I've said it before, and I'll say it on camera, it was the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life, was keeping my kids home. And that was because we flooded for Irene as well, which was a year earlier. I had only 2 feet of water for Irene, so it wasn't such a big deal. You get it out, we fixed everything, and we moved on. The reason I say it was putting my family at risk was the next day when I walked around the city and saw foundations collapsed, homes that burst into flames. There was some devastating stuff that happened, and I didn't realize that until the next day.
So you were very fortunate that
the whole city was very
scared.
fortunate. There was not, there was a few injuries, but not really.
But no loss of life.
No.
Now the city did a remarkable job in alerting the residents.
Yes, there was a massive.
That this was a huge storm coming, and we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I want to talk to you about what that was like in the hours leading up to Sandy and the storm response by the residents of Long Beach. So we'll have more with Anthony Eramo, the city councilman, right after the break. Stay with us.
I'm New York State Assemblyman Edward Hennessy.
And I'm Jim Nostrom with the Long Island Cyclists and Runners for Safety.
Hit and run fatalities are at epidemic levels on Long Island. Last year in Suffolk County alone, numerous fatalities were attributed to an individual leaving the scene without reporting it.
Runners and cyclists, make sure you are visible and follow the rules of the road.
Drivers, if you think you've hit someone, stop, check, and call the police. Be aware and share the road.
Do you have credit card debt, or are you struggling to pay your mortgage? For nearly 20 years, Debt Counseling Corporation has helped consumers just like you. As a nonprofit credit counseling and HUD-approved agency, all of our counseling is free of charge. Our debt management plan could be the answer you are looking for. We were voted the first place winner in the Best of Long Island Awards for our services. Got debt? We can help. Call us today at 631-582-4300.
The Terry Farrell Firefighters Fund doesn't have a telethon. It's not about being in the spotlight. It's about giving support to first responders and military veterans. The fund was established in memory of Terry Farrell, a decorated member of the Rescue 4 FDNY who perished on 9/11. The fund ensures that firefighters have the resources to protect the public. The fund also assists families of firefighters, first responders, and military veterans who are facing medical emergencies. Please support our mission by volunteering or donating. Visit us at terryfund.org.
Meet the Leaders is here on the Long Beach Boardwalk with Long Beach City Councilman Anthony Eramo. Anthony, we were talking about the storm and you riding out that storm, but leading up to the storm, the city was able to communicate, the severity of the storm, and as you mentioned, there wasn't any loss of life. Talk to us about describe those hours of the day or so, before Hurricane Sandy hit.
So I wasn't on the council then. So speaking as just a resident, it was clear to us that we should evacuate, that we should leave. There was a mandatory evacuation, an unenforced mandatory evacuation, if you will. The city was providing sandbags. They provided a place for us to go and fill the sandbags because you're not allowed to just go to the beach and fill your sandbags. Right. So, they were doing everything they can. There was people coming around and telling everybody how severe this storm is going to be and that you should, take your valuables and leave. And that was fairly clear.
I heard a story about President Obama literally calling up Mike Bloomberg because Bloomberg was reluctant to close the city and issue the mandatory evacuation and shut down the subways and do all of that because he was afraid he'd leave people stranded. And the president got off the phone and said, let me explain what the storm is going to be like. And hearing directly from the president of the United States that this is what you must do, tells you how severe it is. So Long Beach was fortunate in the sense that there wasn't a loss of life. There were injuries, but you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in storm damage. We've talked about the recovery of the boardwalk and the main business district and all that. What about other areas that are being strengthened and rebuilt and that are on the drawing boards that have already happened to make sure that this city is more resilient than ever before?
So the important stuff is the stuff you really can't see. The sewer treatment plant, the power plant, the storm drain system. These are all the things that are really vital for us to fix. And of course protecting us on the north side of the island, the bay, Reynolds Channel. So what's happening, we're seeking funding to repair all the bulkheads or to replace possibly all the bulkheads and make them taller to protect us from a surge of water. But also when looking at the back bay, there's a study going on to see where else the water can go. In terms of the marshes and the wetlands, because just on the other side of that of the channel is Island Park and Oceanside are affected too. So we need to keep the water out of all the South Shore communities. So there's a study being funded now on what we can do for that. Tide flex valves, and then after the storm hit, the sewage treatment plant was down and the water plant was down for a long time. Because all the generators and the wiring and the electrical work all was flooded out. So all that stuff is being moved above the floodplain so that should it get flooded again, it'll come online really quickly after any water subsides. We're also installing pumps everywhere. The lift station is also getting repaired. And then there's all the streets. The streets underneath our pavement is just sand. Right. And the sand washes away. And so there's, potholes, but not just potholes, big holes in the ground that all has to be repaired, especially around manhole covers and manholes that have sunk as well.
Where you have erosion, yeah.
Right. So, all this stuff is very expensive and very time consuming, and the city is actively working on it. And if you go around the city, it looks great. It really does. I think the beach park and our Department of Public Works and our Department of Public Works Commissioner is doing an outstanding job with all the stuff that the residents don't necessarily see.
But people appreciate it because they saw what happened when it didn't hold up. So in effect, you're not just building to make sure you survive the next storm. You're building to make sure the city survives the next 50 to 100 years
Yeah, the stuff we're doing now and the decisions being made now are going to set this city up for, like you say, the next 100 years. Even right now, unfortunately, a lot of our trees are being cut down.
Right.
They're mostly poisoned. We've had 2 arborists and FEMA come around and determine which trees are a hazard and poisoned. The good side of that, though, is we're going to get all brand new trees that are planted in such a way that they will help retain the water and that they will grow and flourish, and it'll be an all new, beautiful green city shortly.
Shortly.
Yeah.
I hope so. All right. What about the city's finances? You know, people think about the damage that they could see.
Right.
But when a city gets hit like Long Beach did, things shut down.
Right.
And that affects the revenues. And of course, your costs go up.
So just a couple of years ago, the city was practically on the verge of bankruptcy, even before Sandy. But the new administration took over and balanced the books, right-sized the workforce, and cut a lot of spending. And we've had actually this year a tax cut. Actually this year, we've been able to pay off a outstanding debt through deficit financing. So we were able to actually lower taxes a little bit this year. What I think a big signal that the residents see is the Moody's upgrade. Moody's had lowered us down to negative and then stable, but now we're at a positive outlook. And as you know, governments rely on borrowing money to maintain and pay off, and that's just how it goes.
Especially when you're doing a lot of building like you're doing now.
Right, and that's just how municipal government works. That's how my personal home works too, right? The mortgage, that's the way finances work. And when Moody's upgrades you, you get to borrow money for a lot less, which is a lot less pressure on the taxpayers.
Yeah, it is.
So, outstanding job in the finance department.
Well, and that comes also with the support of the city council, because it's one thing for staff, and you've got great staff here,
Right.
to recommend what needs to be done. It's another thing for the council to follow through on it.
Right.
Let's talk about fun things.
Sure.
You can't talk about Long Beach without talking about all the activities in the summer.
Right.
And this city, thanks to the Boardwalk being completely rebuilt and open from day one this summer season, has a lot going on.
Yes. Yes, so there's a lot going on that the city does. For our children in the daytime, we have camps that are run by the city, sport camps and playground camps, which my son, 8-year-old son, participates in both. We also have junior lifeguards, which is a very prestigious club to get into.
How do you get into that club?
You have to swim a certain time, and then you get trained as a junior, a teenager.
How old are the kids that participate in that program?
I believe it starts at about 10. My daughter participates in that too, and she's 12. She's been in it for the last couple of years.
So she was working hard on her swimming
Oh, yeah.
to make sure she could qualify.
She was practicing at the rec a couple nights a week. We have a beautiful rec, an indoor pool. We have an ice skating rink. If for some reason it's raining and you want to go ice skating, we can offer that too. But on the boardwalk. So this year we have more food choices than any other year, and that comes directly out of community input. Last year when the boardwalk was being built, the city held a lot of community outreach events and asked the residents, what do you want to see on the boardwalk?
What did you hear from them?
Ice cream. Residents want ice cream
They want
on the
to be
board.
able to
Yes.
get an ice cream cone.
Yes. So now you can buy ice cream in multiple places, frozen yogurt. We have all kinds of food from one end of the boardwalk to the other for the first time, which is exciting. We have temporary bathrooms this year, but phase 2 of the boardwalk project is where we're going to build bathrooms. What are they going to look like? Are they going to have showers? And there's a lot of stuff. So we anticipate having community outreach events again.
Okay, we have to take a short break because I want to come back to you
Sure.
about how you involve the community in this decision making, because it sounds so interesting that you actually got a lot of good ideas that you're acting on.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have more. Don't go away. We'll be back in about 90 seconds.
I hope you find a home. I hope you find a home. Hey, maybe you'll be picked next. Maybe you'll be picked next. We've been caged together too long. We've been caged together too long. How come nobody ever picks me? Maybe they're looking for somebody different. Pick me. Well, the shelter's closing up for another day. We didn't get picked. I know. Tomorrow. Guaranteed.
did you get a call from the coach about those kids who were caught drinking?
Not our guys. They know better.
Yeah, they know better.
Heads up, sport.
Real kids are curious about alcohol. 40% tried by the 8th grade. Talk early, talk often, get others involved.
My grandfather was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. He'd always say, "How are you and those 2 long-legged boys doing?" And he fought really hard for 5 months. And he's got the best seat now.
No matter who you are and what you do, cancer is something that we don't have a cure for yet.
Having that hit so close to home for all of us just makes you want to get more involved.
LLS-funded research has been a gateway to help all types of cancer patients live longer and better lives.
Visit lls.org to give.
Welcome back to Meet the Leaders, here with Long Beach City Councilman Anthony Eramo. Anthony, we're here at in the Alligator Hotel, and it's right here on the boardwalk, and it's got this extraordinary view, and it's a first-class hotel. But it wasn't always this way.
No, it wasn't. It was, a pretty desolate part of town right here, and they came in and built this amazing hotel, inviting people from all over now come. And with the press we're getting in Newsweek, cleanest beaches, and then you can look up online where you can stay. This is the place to be. It's absolutely gorgeous.
But you know what's so cool about it? I mean, it reminds me, if you go down to Fort Lauderdale or Miami, where so much is already like South Beach.
Yes.
It doesn't have all the hotels that you have in South Beach, but of
Right.
course their summer season lasts a little bit longer.
Right.
But this is a place that you can enjoy in the summer, but also the other parts of the year as well.
Oh yeah, there's a beautiful view. You can eat with a beautiful view of the ocean. It's the only restaurant like that in Long Beach. And then I don't know if you've been up to the roof. The roof is really nice too. They do parties up there. They have a bar up there and a pool on the roof. So it's a nice spot, and it's a really nice
So what does
view.
it mean for Long Beach to have a beautiful hotel like this finally? Because for years, people said, we need a first-class hotel in this city.
Right. Well, we've been inviting visitors for so long, but now they can come and stay a couple days. We have restaurants from one side of the city to the other. And actually, to help provide transportation for our visitors, not only can they stay here, but this year we have an open-air trolley, which is really pretty neat. It's only a couple bucks for the whole day, and you can get on and off wherever you like. It stops right here. It makes some stops on the boardwalk, but it also brings the visitors to both ends of the island, where you can visit our shops and all the restaurants that we have to offer.
Just so much going on. And getting back to the summer activities here, you have a summer concert series, which people enjoy.
Summer concert series is great. It's free, which is amazing, and it's at least 3 nights a week in different locations on the sand. We roll out our brand new, concert trailer that was bought with money donated by Billy Crystal. We roll that out. We have all the speakers in there, and 3 nights a week we have concerts, from rock concerts to Italian night, and all different kinds of stuff.
How many people turn out for these on a nice
sometimes
night?
hundreds, sometimes hundreds of people, and it's all the local residents really come down. Bring your lawn chair, bring glow sticks for the kids, a couple sodas, and it's a really nice night. It really is.
It's beautiful. So Billy Crystal, when he heard about what happened to Long Beach, I think one of his first calls was to the city saying, how can I help?
Yes, well, he's our local resident, or was our local resident, and he did some fundraising with some of his friends, and I think donated $1 million to the city. But it has to be used for, we used some for basketball courts, we're using some in the ice arena, arts and sports and stuff like that.
Now when the sun goes down, you also have movies on the beach.
We do, in cooperation with a lot of the civic groups now, I think it started last year, and it's really ballooned into something that I think is going to be around for a long time. We have movies on the beach. I think the most exciting one is Jaws. To sit,
Jaws, to watch Jaws with the waves crashing behind you.
Exactly. I went to a few last year, and I'm going to be going to a couple this year with the kids. It's a fun night. Same thing. Bring your lawn chair, bring a bag of snacks, and go watch a movie with your neighbors on the beach. It's really kind of fun.
It's also interesting that you figured out other ways to work in activities here on the beach, like the art on the beach.
Yep. We had, I think the Allegria did sandcastle stuff a couple of years ago. They did that, and also don't forget surfing. Right out in front of this beautiful hotel will be Surf Week. Will occur next week, actually. So there'll be lots of surfer art, like you talk about. There'll be some competition and lessons, and just promoting safe surfing for our residents and visitors.
You know, you mentioned before that there are a lot of interesting things to, a lot of interesting places to go, restaurants to go that have sprung up post Sandy.
Yes.
And you also have a whole plan where you, I'm going to make sure I get this right, where you call it a smorgasbord.
That's correct.
On the boardwalk.
That's correct, the smorgasbord. The smorgasbord is basically an area where we've collected a bunch of food trucks. And we invited, last year we invited only local restaurants to participate to help them after Sandy, because everyone was really struggling. But this year we opened it up to anyone that wanted to come and set up a food truck. And it kind of...
Now, where are these food trucks going to be located?
They're a block away from where we are right now, on the boardwalk at Riverside.
So they will literally be, the food trucks will be on the boardwalk?
Well, no. They're right in front of the
boardwalk.
boardwalk.
Right in front of the boardwalk, okay.
And then there's picnic tables set up. There's a restroom there also, a portable, a really nice trailer restroom is there. And the Village Voice actually mentioned that not only are we a place of sun and sand, but also an upcoming foodie delight or something like that. Yeah.
So this place is going to be packed with people enjoying the best that the new trend and mobile dining has to offer, which are these gourmet food trucks.
Yes. And we do actually have one gourmet food truck that's actually on the sand on the east side of town. A gentleman sent up a truck there. I think it's like a seafood shack kind of thing. So yeah. It's fun for our residents. It's fun for personally for me and my family. So now we take our bikes. We go for a bike ride on the boardwalk. But now we bike knowing we're going to go get lunch somewhere. We lock them up. We have some lunch, and we're able to ride back home.
So if you're watching a show, you're not from Long Beach, and you have a bike rack, you can put your bikes right on your bike rack and enjoy this boardwalk.
I would absolutely bring my bike here. This is a biking community. And then after you're done biking the boardwalk and enjoying the boardwalk, you could bike down to the west end where a lot of restaurants and shops are. You could bike over to the east end. You could lock it up. You could stay, watch a summer concert. You could spend the whole day here. It really is a great place.
And the price is right.
Yes.
The price is right. You enjoy the best that Long Island has to offer right here in Long Beach.
Yes, and it's great for our residents and our visitors alike. And you know, if you're coming from the city, your beach entrance is included in your Long Island Railroad Pass, which also comes with a trolley ticket for the whole day. So,
hey, that's where can you go? It's, you're probably at the Long Beach station in about 45 minutes from Penn Station.
It's less than an hour.
And in an hour you'll be on the beach.
You don't even need to bring anything.
You can buy a towel when you get here. The city by the sea, Long Beach.
Yes.
Councilman, it's great to have you on Meet the Leaders. And,
thanks. It was
and
great.
Good luck. It sounds like Long Beach its best days are definitely coming ahead, and it's going to be a great summer here. So enjoy it. We all will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And that's going to do it for this edition of MTL. From the Alligator Hotel in Long Beach, I'm Pat Halpin, once again helping you meet the leaders.
Some goodbyes are worth fighting for. Help the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation honor Marines by educating their children at mcsf.org.
Did you get a call from the coach about those kids who were caught drinking?
Not our guys. They know better.
Yeah, they know better.
Heads up, sport.
Real kids are curious about alcohol. 40% tried by the 8th grade. Talk early, talk often, get others involved.